Well, the next game was something, guys. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to begin with. Let me flip the board over here because I was playing with the black pieces. And the accelerated pairings have switched now. It's some strange system that I don't really understand. But basically, after having lost to a Grandmaster rated 2450, I'm now facing a Grandmaster of 2500. I thought it just can't get any better. So, yeah, I am facing, in round 6, Praneth Vupala from India. Very strong player. I believe he is not 18 yet. I believe he's 17. And, yeah, very strong, talented player. And I knew what I was up against, and you know, I did not have much time to prepare, but I did see that my opponent plays e4, d4, knight f3, but mostly e4. So I kind of guessed that my opponent will play e4, which is what he did. So I played my French. I was so happy that finally, after so many rounds, I am finally able to play the French. It was such a relief. So d4, d5. But my opponent plays the advanced variation. And guess what? That's not what I prepared against. Well, to be very honest with you, I did not prepare much. I was simply going by my feelings. Let's see what happens. But I was expecting knight c3, which is what he has played all the time in the database. And I remember checking my files, and a lot of the files were talking about the advanced variation. I was like, yeah, that's not happening, Anna, just move on. It's not going to happen, ignore it. Because I was in had little time to prepare, so I had to rush through the lines real quick. But yeah, this came as a total surprise. So I play c5, c3, queen b6, knight f3, bishop d7. The idea behind this line is that after bishop e2, let's say bishop b5, and you simply trade off the bishops. It's that simple. This bishop is often a really bad piece in the French. And yeah, if you trade it off, then you have a really good French all of a sudden. Bishop takes b5, queen takes b5. My opponent took that, which was a bit of a surprise. The main line is like this, d takes c5, and there's some tricky line with bishop takes c5, and I don't know for sure how the line goes, but it has something to do with b4. I keep messing up the move orders here and there, but I believe it's b4, and that taking on f2 is quite a disaster, so I don't want to allow this. And then there's some lines with, yeah, you basically have to be really careful here. You have to retreat and so on. Anyway, that is not what happened in the game. My opponent took knight a3, and here I made a mistake. Well, not really, but it caused a lot of damage long term. I played queen a6. I was just, not really thinking much about my moves. I barely spent time. I was just like, yep, I have to stop the king from castling of white. So by putting the queen on a6, the king is not castling. Well, here's the thing. Well, let me show you what happened in the game, because that really shows what the problem is behind this move. D takes c5, bishop takes b4, and all of a sudden my queen is getting in danger. You can see it already maybe from far. Bishop b6 is what I played. I think going back to e7 is maybe more precise, but then where does the knight go? I don't know. So bishop b6 and now c4. And here I was like, wait, I think I'm actually in trouble here. I think I'm actually in trouble because, so the first move you think about, of course, is take. I want to take that pawn. But the problem is that, so white has several moves. I wasn't really entirely sure why this was really good for white, but I could sense that there are b5 tactics, knight takes c4, knight d6, and I can just sense that I'm going to lose my queen one way or the other. I don't know how, but I can see the danger from far. Let's say queen c2, and I don't know, like knight e7, and then knight takes c4, I don't know. Okay, here I managed to castle, of course, but there are some tricks with b5, and if I'm not able to castle in time, I'm just going to lose my queen because it's trapped over here. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, I was shocked, and in this position, I realized that a few moves ago, I should not have played queen a6. I should have gone back. What am I doing here? Just take the fact that you got rid of the light squared bishop, and then continue playing like it's a normal game. What was I thinking? I don't know. But okay, it suddenly hit me that I was supposed to go back, and now I'm going to triple check the lines that what I'm supposed to play in this position, because this is really terrible. Anyway, this is what happened, c4, and now let me refresh this. Now knight e7. Apparently it's the only move to still like hold on and survive, which is quite a shock to me, because I actually thought I was already lost here, but apparently I'm still holding on somewhat. Short castle, and here's c5. Funnily enough, so I played bishop d8 because I was really scared that I was going to lose material, but apparently if the bishop c7, I'm fine. I was really sure that I was going to lose material here. I do have to say I don't remember how, but I thought I had to do something with, I don't know, something with b5. Something was bothering me here, and I don't remember what it was, but it was like very clearly bad, and yeah, I think it was simply like something like queen b3 or something, or maybe like b5, queen a5, queen b3. Oh, and here the computer wants me to play bishop d8. Yeah, and here I'm fine. I make it make sense. Why not bishop d8 right away? It makes no sense. Well, I guess this is exactly what happened in the game, because my opponent went queen b3 anyway. It's a really complicated position. And here I went b5. So yeah, 3 misses in a row. Just any other title player game, you know. So yeah, b5, the reason why is because, okay, if my opponent plays en passant, I'm happy, right? Because I just take back and I'm doing well. I'm surviving. I have a nice, it's a passed pawn, but it's not going to get far yet, but you get the idea. So yeah, basically I'm trying to shut down the attack on the queen side, and I thought this is the one way to stop b5, because this is a really frightening move. So b5, knight d4, and yeah, here I went knight c6, and I'm just amazed by how easily the computer is just punishing all those moves, right? Like calling it a mistake, calling it a miss. They just feel really natural to me. So I play knight c6 because I simply want to develop, and I am targeting those 2 pawns over here. Let me show you. So knight takes b5, queen b7, and the idea is that I want to play a6 and then take the pawn on b4. But apparently this is like super bad for me. So let's see. Bishop a3, which was apparently a miss. And here I took on e5 because I thought I had to. Knight d6, queen c7, and here b5. So knight c8. I mean, this is such a disaster of a position. Unfortunately, the camera of my game died, so there's not like live footage of how I felt during the game, but I can guarantee you, I can tell you that I was really going through it. I was really like, when is this game going to end? Can we like please fast forward to the checkmate or something? Like just take all my pieces and we move on, and I'm just going to have a short day and everything. I was just mentally already giving up. Like I thought like, I am in a worse position against a Grandmaster. Like when you're playing a Grandmaster, you want to put up a good fight. You want to like challenge them, right? And if you're already in a losing position, it doesn't really take that much for them to convert it, right? Let me show you what happened. Rook c1. I was like, yes, I got rid of 1 pawn, sort of. It's there, but it doesn't feel like it's there. You get what I mean? We'll see what happens next. Knight c6, knight c4. And my opponent took. Brilliant move. Apparently they had to do this. They had to sacrifice the exchange because that knight is just a monster. Sooner or later you have to take that anyway, even if you wait with it, because it's just really strong over there. And yeah, of course I'm going to take the pawn on next move if you don't take it. So rook takes d4, pawn takes, queen takes c4. And here I thought, okay, like I couldn't really estimate what the evaluation is. I thought it must be worse, but at the same time I'm up materially. So like, how does this work exactly? Really difficult to understand. But I guess the main focus is for now this pawn on d6. And also there's going to be another passed pawn on the queen side coming up, right? So yeah, I knew that I had to, you know, defend really well here. But at the same time, I thought maybe, you know, there's like big chances for me to turn things around. I don't know. But okay, for now I'm stuck. For now I'm stuck, so I have to deal with that. Bishop b4, rook c8, rook c1. And here, I'm just kind of like struggling to find a move. I want to be active, but I can't. Every single move I try to do will be punished. And also, let's say I was considering the move bishop b2. But the problem is I will allow knight e7 check. And I don't have queen takes e7 because queen takes c8 check. And it's quite a disaster. So that's why I have to be really careful here. And don't go to, you know, such positions. Don't go for those crazy moves. I just play h6 because the king needs some luft. So there you go. a4, a6. And here my opponent had one move. And it's not a really easy move to play. Well, I thought it was like more of a challenging move, of course, but yeah, my opponent had to play b6 here. The thing is why it doesn't feel like this move is good is because you're letting go of the defense on that knight. And it's a little bit difficult to, you know, allow this because this knight will be permanently pinned. And I was really hopeful that maybe I can like hold with queen b7 or something, I don't know. But I thought like, okay, first a5 actually to stop a5 from happening. And I thought after bishop a3 because you can't take, of course, because everything is pinned over here. Actually knight e7 again, it's still there. It's still there. You have to be so careful here. I thought it was going to be fine. Oh, actually I can take but b7. Okay, yeah, I don't know. There's just too many things going on. Anyway. b6 was a move that my opponent was supposed to play. Really difficult move. Well, I mean, it's simple, but it's difficult to play when you see that there's such big pin happening on the c file, right? So, yeah, anyway, my opponent didn't do this. He went for g3. And this was the start of me coming back in the game. You see eval bar? Crazy. I took on b5. I was so happy to get rid of one pawn. One pawn less is better for me, right? So it takes b5, king h7. I'm just making moves. Like, I don't know what to do. So king g2, queen b7. I was so happy to pin that knight. I was like, yes! Like, it's double pin now. Triple pin maybe even. I don't know what to call this. It's like triple. It's pinned everywhere. It's crazy. So anyway, queen e3 check is what my opponent played. I think like the amount of misses in this game is just insane. Apparently I just had to move my king, but I really wanted to play g6. I don't know why. I just had this feeling to play g6. I don't know. I guess I just didn't want to get back ranked at some point. I don't know. So d7 is what my opponent played, and I was actually really, okay, not really happy. I was happy about it, but it was also like, I'm still cautious, but I start to sense that I'm approaching draw territory. Like we're getting there because rook c7. This is the only move in the position. Any other move is lost, like completely lost. Because his pawn is simply promoting, and there's so many threats in the position. Queen f3, bishop c3, h4, h5, like everything is coming down my position. So rook c7 is the only move because I'm attacking that pawn. Currently, you can't promote because I'm simply going to take that with the bishop or rook, and remember that knight is pinned, so you're not taking my bishop at all. So what's next then? Well, I was also considering, let's say, queen f3. But here I'll just like defend that, king g7 or bishop g7. I will be completely fine. But there was one situation where it gets interesting. So my opponent has to defend the pawn, of course, because otherwise it will be lost. So rook d1. And here I was so happy to take on c6. So happy. I thought, oh my god, I actually am able to sacrifice the exchange back, and I'll have so much more activity than I had like 10 moves ago. Like, it really felt like I was finally breathing fresh air after being stuck in a room for hours, I don't know, without fresh air. So yeah, the thing is, what I wanted to show you is that, for example, here, you might think queen f3, you pin the rook, attack the bishop, and then things get really dicey, right? Well, I have rook b6. Haha! I was so happy to find this because you may think, oh, free bishop. Nope, because that queen is pinned. So that is why I was so happy about this move rook takes c6 because queen f3 is not possible. And if the b takes c6, I still have to be careful because I can't take that bishop just like that because c7 and the pawns are unstoppable. It's really difficult to find a way to trade either my rook or bishop for the 2 pawns. It will just not end well. So yeah, unfortunately this wouldn't work for me. So I took on c6. King g1, king g7, h4. By the way, just to share the time situation. So for the longest time, like throughout the whole duration of the game, we were both like around the same time. 50 minutes, 40, 40. Like we were really close in time management. And now we are at move 36. My opponent has 5 minutes on the clock. I have 2.5 minutes, and it's getting, we're getting lower on the clock basically. But we're almost there at move 40. I play h5 because I just want to survive and just not make any move here. Bishop d2, and here queen d5. I took the opportunity. I was a little bit concerned because I made this move with 30 seconds on the clock, and it was a little bit concerning that maybe there's bishop h6, and if I take queen e3 check, and I may lose that actually because there's still a passed pawn over here, right? But I figured that I can just play king h7 and I'm fine. So yeah, it's a little bit scary, but it's still fine. So my opponent took e takes d5, and I was really happy about this because I thought, oh, we got the queens off the board. There's only 1 pawn left that is really like giving me headache a lot. So if I just hold on to that pawn and like try to stop it and hopefully take it at some point, then it's just a draw. It's just a draw. So I thought like I'm this close. Bishop e3. I'm like, okay, my opponent is pulling up some tricks here because my pawn is under attack. If I just play rook d8, I'll just lose the pawn, right? And so that doesn't really help me. And I thought d4. Because if you I take rook d8, and I'm slowly picking up the pawn over here. Nothing my opponent can do, and this is just an easy draw. Well, the thing is that bishop takes d4 is not forced. There's rook takes d4. And I was shocked to see this. I was like, what? This was his 14th move. And he just hits me with the rook takes d4. And I was just shocked. I was like, what? Because if I take, bishop takes, king goes anywhere, let's say king f8, bishop f6, over. The pawn is promoting, nobody can stop it. And I'm just going to lose my rook. If let's say f6, bishop b6, nobody can stop the pawn. And I was just shocked. I'm like, what? I can't take the rook? So then I was like, okay, like I have a minute left on the clock. I have to make a move. And what do? I make a mistake. 14th move, the final move of the time control. After this move, I get 30 minutes added to my clock. And right now, I am not aware of any issues. No idea. I thought I'm going to do my best to hold this. I think I got it, but it's not 100% clear yet. But I am, on my way to draw. My opponent plays rook d6. So I was already calculating a little bit that if this move happens, of course, I cannot play king e7 because bishop c5, it's a big disaster. So I was mentally prepared for playing bishop e7, bishop c5. If bishop c5 will be played, rook d8, and I'm fine because the rook has to leave, I take the pawn, or I take the bishop and then the pawn, and I'm just completely fine. Well, you already saw it a little bit. This did happen in the game, bishop e7 and bishop c5. There is a reason why this is a brilliant move. There is a reason why. Because I missed bishop b6. This is already lost. This is already lost, and once my opponent played bishop c5, it suddenly hit me that rook d8, bishop b6 is there, and that hurt quite a bit. I was like, no, this is not happening. I did not just save my life, and I survived the craziest, lost position against a GM. I came back from the dead to this. I was like, I can't believe this. And during the game, I actually thought that I blundered here, like bishop e7 was just bad. But I was really happy to find out that the mistake was a move earlier because I didn't spend much time on bishop e7. I played it almost instantly. So if I would have, made a mistake with 30 minutes on the clock, that would have hurt quite a bit. But I made a mistake with 30 seconds on the clock, so I can't really blame myself too much. But of course, it's still really sad that I fought so hard and I found the most crazy, insane tactics that I was able to counter with my opponent and all of that stuff. You know, I was just really happy with my play. Like, I was really proud of myself. And I'm not proud often, you know, you know how that goes. So I was really happy that I made it so far, but then to end like this is just like, oh my, like I just can't believe it. But at the end of the day, well, let me just show you how the game ended because it was just a few more moves. Because I don't like to resign in like a position where the material is even. I don't like that. Like, just take my material and then, yeah, I'll resign. So bishop b6, I took, takes. Yeah, basically, let me just show you quickly what the threats are because there's quite a lot. If you play rook b8, which is one of the logical moves, you just promote. So yeah, that's all. Let's say, actually, if we go move back, the reason why I played rook d8 is because if I, let's say, play bishop d8 to cover the promotion square, rook takes g6 or rook a6 even. I didn't even see that during the game. But yeah, this is also losing. Basically, there's so many tactics across this diagonal. The pawn is promoting and unstoppable. The rook can move around freely. Rook f6, so that's why I can't play f6 because rook takes. There's just so many issues in the position. So after rook d8, this is what happened, and bishop e7, bishop c7, and the pawn is unstoppable, and I resigned here. So yeah, quite heartbreaking in a way, but at the same time, as I said, I'm still very proud that, you know, I played a GM, I played a Grandmaster, and I was completely lost from the beginning, and I managed to fight back so well that I was this close to a draw, this close. But yeah, lesson learned, gotta be more careful. Gotta be more careful. The drawing move was, for example, to just put the bishop on d8 and sit and wait. I was not patient enough for that. So lesson learned. And I also learned that I should look at this line in the opening. This is pretty bad for my standards. Really, really bad. But yeah, I'm super happy about today's games. I want to play better. I want to do better. My openings were not great today, but other than that, I feel like I did amazing. And I'm happy to see that I'm able to, you know, put up a good fight against a Grandmaster. And yeah, we go next. There's 3 rounds left. Finally, no more double rounds, so I can finally have proper sleep, proper preparation, and just like feeling much better altogether because the past 2 days have been really difficult. But we keep up the grind. We try to do our best, and I hope you guys enjoyed this recap as well of my games of round 5 and round 6 of Reykjavik Open. Make sure to tune in to my streams on YouTube or Twitch, the streams where we have live commentary on my games. Tomorrow we'll have the game again on a normal time, at least according to the schedule. For us, it's a normal time. I believe it's 4 p.m. local time, Icelandic time. So make sure to tune in to my streams or catch the recaps of the next rounds later on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.